go. Middleweight superstar, definitely on the rise. Here we go. Puna, story time. Soriano, how you doing, my man?
Yes, sir. I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, brother. Doing good, man. Okay, we got to go there. It's like breaking everywhere right now. Fight
Yeah.
Island pictures, videos. Ariel Hawani put up a picture of like there's a water slide and there's a
Oh,
weight limit. It's crazy. So
yeah.
first of all, you're out there in Vegas. How's the buzz right now? And for one, is that a goal of yours to try to get out there that week?
Um, Honestly, I don't know. It's pretty far. I love fighting at home, close to home in
Right.
Vegas, and but I don't know when I would ever go to Abu Dhabi again. So it might be a good opportunity.
Right. And I just feel like it's, like you said, a great opportunity. There's only going to be 62, 64 fighters. That feels, and it's kind of, dude, it looks like Disney World. It literally looks like there's like a map, trademark, and over here says pizza, and over here says weight lifted, and then over here says octagon. So it's like once in a lifetime opportunity. And, I know your last two fights kind of been canceled, and I know that's got to be frustrating to you, but like, it would just be, to me, like a once in a lifetime opportunity for you guys.
Definitely, yeah. For anyone that's gonna be able to get on that card, it's gonna be crazy.
Absolutely, and especially 251, they announced Volkanovski and Max. They announced Usman and Burns, and also Jan and Aldo. What fight out of those three really pop and interest you?
Definitely the Max rematch.
Right.
I don't want to be on that card. Last time me and Max fought on the same card, like Max didn't win, so I know it's not my fault, but I don't want to like have any sort of I don't know. I'm very superstitious.
Right. He only
Yeah.
went like 9 years. He was only determined the best pound for pound fighter in the world until you fought on the same card. So no biggie.
I mean, it's weird. Like I still
Love
think Max is a champ. I wake up in the morning and like I don't know if I think about the rankings and stuff, I forget Volkanovski is the champ.
Right. It is wild. And it's I'm really happy. Usually rematches sometimes have great buzz and sometimes don't. I think this one will. Max has definitely earned it. He's the greatest featherweight ever. And it's just one of those. It wasn't his night. Volkanovski had a great game plan.
Yeah, definitely.
It is what it is. I can't wait to see the rematch. I'm so intrigued with that fight to see Max is going to come different. If Volkanovski is going to, change anything up. So I'm pumped. All three fights are great. Yeah. I think I'm with you. I think the Volkanovski Max Holloway, because it's a rematch, and I'm really intrigued to see what Max does. But let's talk about you, man. 7-0, undefeated. You never lost a fight, never lost a pro fight. For one, a big thing with Gaethje, Gaethje was on Joe Rogan talking about it with him and his coach, was like how those losses helped him. Those two defeats really helped. How do you feel about never feeling, a defeat in your career so far? Is that good, bad, indifferent? How do you feel about that?
I honestly don't really think too much into it. I've honestly lost so much throughout my athletic career, like wrestling in high school and college. That it's nothing to me. I've lost so many times before. But the only thing that's different now is I feel like I'm learning the same lessons I would have if I lost after wins.
Right. Okay. I like that. Yeah. A really cool story, of course, you probably have no idea about it, is I was at your Contender Series fight. It was the first fight in Vegas at the Apex Center. My main man, Brock Weaver, was on the card.
Okay,
and Goldie was on the card, Alton Meek. So Brock couldn't fight that one because his opponent dropped out because of weight. But it was a great night, and you're in the main event, and I'm with a couple of big people around me sitting ringside at the, Apex, and they were not even about your athletic ability and how you punched. You were listening so great to your corner that night, and people around me were like, whoa, like that's a future title contender, champion type of fighter, just because they saw your raw athletic ability and wrestling and power, but then they saw how much you listened, even the minute after the round, but even during the fight itself, they were like, whoa, this kid has great fight IQ. I would love for you to take it there. Like how important, athletic ability is great and skills and techniques are, but how vital is fight IQ to the game?
I think it's super important, honestly, I really feel like it's something, I don't want to say lacking on, but I don't think too much on it as well. I just kind of feel like it comes naturally for me. The more I'm into it, the more I just kind of open my ears up. When I was working for Ali and I got to be around all these high level guys and whatnot, I just kind of just kept my mouth shut and opened my ears and just listened to what they have to say. Anything from cutting weight to fighting to whatever, and all these little things just added up, and I feel like it's really helped me.
Absolutely, man. That's how you get better, is you learn from people that've been there, went through techniques, even weight cutting tricks and stuff of that nature. How did you get your nickname Storytime?
That's kind of like a unofficial nickname. I don't really have a real one yet.
Okay.
Me and my buddy Connor Asu, he had that nickname in like 8th grade or something, and our friend group we all changed our nicknames to that just to tease him, and I was just too lazy to change it back.
Wow. I love it.
I don't know.
So, when I did talk about you for a breakthrough for middleweights of this year coming up, when I saw you didn't get the finish on the Contender Series, but Jamie Pitt was tough as nails.
Yeah.
But your first fight in the UFC, you did finish. A lot of your fights before that, to me, you are a finisher. Is that something you pride yourself on, or is that something that just comes naturally or organic in the fights? What's your finish rate's really high?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I always go in with the focus on finishing. It doesn't matter what round to me, honestly. I look to finish the whole fight, every second of it. And I feel like even if I don't finish you, it's gonna be a hard fight for you to win. Like, I'm just gonna put the pressure on and look for the finish at least.
Right. What's the game plan for you personally? When are you trying to get back into the octagon?
I just saw they finalized the date for that DC and Stipe card, August 15th.
Yep. August 15th.
I wouldn't mind hopping on that, honestly.
Okay, August 15th. And also, too, in the last 36 hours, a lot of middleweight fights got announced. Brandon Allen, who I just had on yesterday, him and Heinisch got announced, which is kind of in that range. Brunson and Shabazian. So it just seems Till and Whitaker. So a lot of big middleweight fights for the end of the summer. Is that the game plan, to try to get inside the octagon 2, maybe 3 more times, pushing towards the end of the year, and then see where you're at in 2021?
Yeah, I was thinking 2 more times. 2 more times this year. It was a slow year for me. I had things pop up and whatnot, but I really want a big, like next year. I want next year to be a big year for me. I want to fight a lot. I want to be active, and I just want to do what I can.
Right. Middleweight landscape, is there names that you would definitely love to hit on the way up? Are you just trying to collect wins, money, and just keep moving up? What's your mindset on the whole middleweight weight class?
Yeah, that question is always kind of hard for me because I don't know where the UFC sees me at. I don't know like how that is compared to where I see myself at. I feel like I'm always really hard on myself. I see myself kind of at like the bottom tier, but I know like I can work my way to the very top. I know I can do it.
Right.
But I like to be at the bottom because that way no one can say like I didn't earn it. You know what I mean? Like I just gotta grind out from the dirt.
Sure, man. I love that attitude. Love that mindset. Couple last questions, man. Appreciate your time out there at the PI. One is, to me, on the negative or the bad landscape of MMA, it feels like, Masvidal, Bones, Cejudo, seems like a lot of, fighters, top end fighters, been there, been around the block, championship, money making guys, seem a little bit upset about, UFC and money. Where do you sit on that? I never like to talk about another man's money. It's just not, not in good. But it just seems like to a lot of us, right? A lot of people, UFC is always the goal. Growing up through the ranks, you want to be in the UFC, and it seems like now it seems like you can move up. Where do you set on like? Where does that fine line of you want to make what's yours, but also you want to be a good employee kind of to the UFC?
Right. As far as those guys are concerned, I think everything they're doing, it's only going to benefit like the future generation or like all of us fighters in general. It's going to help all of us. I don't think anything really bad's going to come for it. Either they're just not going to fight or fighters are going to start to get paid more. So either way, it doesn't hurt us. And for me, as far as money goes, I've never been paid this kind of money in my life. There was a time I was working 3 jobs, like 3 minimum wage jobs. And like, I wouldn't even come home with $1,000 like in a paycheck, and it sucked. So this is awesome to me.
Right. And, if you do every quarter, it's usually when they start, it's 12 and 12 or 14, 14, stuff like that. But it seems like you can, that second and the third one, kind of fight tracks are, usually pretty dang good. And then it's negotiating when you get to that high end point. And I agree with you. You had a really good point about it's going to be good for the next generation. I never thought about it that way. But yeah, man, I'm on that fine line. I want both sides. You know what I mean? Like the UFC, not a lot of people realize how much money they spend on advertising or health concerns, or
definitely.
Some shows are not as good as the great show. So when a ton of people make money on a great show and then the bad show is not as good, you know what I mean? That people don't see it that way. But then exactly. But I'm so pro fighter. I want the fighters to make as much money as possible. So there's a fine line there, man. Appreciate your time. Fight Island coming up. Dude, one last question for you is,
of course.
What, kind of like your first memory or your first, a fighter that, holy crap, I seen Chuck Liddell, who got you into the UFC?
It sounds funny now because, like, I feel like my style is completely different from him.
Yeah.
But, coming up through, like, the amateur rankings and stuff, I was real high on Wonder Boy. Like, I just loved watching him. I thought I was going to be, like, a kicker like him, doing this crazy karate style. And I don't know. I still, to this day, I watch his highlights and whatnot every day. But he's one guy that I really look up to, and I enjoy watching him fight.
No, that's a good one. Wonder Boy. He had a hell of a run, kind of stumbled a little bit with that Anthony. Insane, that knockout that he did. But man, Puna Soriano, big 2020. Hopefully we'll see you August 15th, DC, Stipe Trilogy. Who do you got in that one real quick?
Oof. It's hard to say. I like DC. I feel like the revenge aspect kind of lights a little more of a fire on you.
Right. And it feels like with him commentating, I think like he's a little bit more around the game and in the gym. And Stipe's been doing amazing with his stuff. And, when COVID happened, he was firefighting and all that. So it just seems like maybe DC's around a little bit more. And I think, this is it. Like, this is his last one he's one of the greats, one of the, legacy guys. And it seems like he would like a win on the way out. And Stipe's got 4 more years left. Him versus Nagano, him versus Lewis. So a lot of stuff in the works. But Puna Soriano, dude, appreciate your time. Dude, we'll talk real soon. And if you get it on the August 15th, we'll talk to you before then. All right?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you, man.
Cool. Thank you.
Bye.